Hello and welcome to Landscape Photography World. I'm Grant Swinburne and I'll be your host on the show discussing the world of landscape photography. This time I'll be talking to Marissa Knight about her landscape photography journey. Marissa is based on the Sunshine Coast in Queensland and loves spending her time capturing sunrise and sunset images. We'll be getting to know Marissa a little better, and we'll talk about how she got started with landscape photography, what drives her passion for seascapes and landscapes, and some interesting adventures on her travels. I hope you enjoy the show. Hi Marissa, welcome to the podcast. How are you doing?
Really good, thanks, and thanks for having me.
Oh, pleasure, absolute pleasure. How's things in sunny Queensland?
Yeah, really good. Been really nice weather apart from this lockdown we've just been forced into.
Yeah, that's never
till Sunday now. No, but you know, I really can't complain because you know we've had it pretty easy up here. So
yeah,
the weather's been nice, pretty warm too. So it was like 26 degrees today. So
very warm,
nice and warm
for winter.
Yeah.
We had a pretty warm weekend ourselves. It was about 23 degrees, which middle of winter down here in Sydney is pretty rare. But I suspect with global warming we're going to cop a bit more of that. But anyway, when was the last time you got out to shoot?
On Thursday, I went out to a place called Boring Point at Lake Catharabra, which is near Noosa.
Yep.
For sunrise.
Nice.
The clouds and the conditions were looking really good, so set the alarm and headed out there, and it didn't disappoint. So they got a little just a tiny little jetty there, which I hadn't headed to for a little while. So you try and mix places up where I try and head to shoot. It's always try and come up with not always going to the same place.
Yeah, no, I'm the same. I try not to go to the
even though I got my favourites. Yeah, I mean, I do have my favourites, of course. But I thought I'd head out to this particular place, and I hadn't been to for a little while.
Sure.
And it turned out a really nice sunrise. There was a bit of wind around. Yeah, there's a bit of wind around, so I just use the filters to create a longer exposure.
Yeah, pick up some of that cloud movement and the and
it turned out really nice. So
what got you into photography?
Well, it was more probably just after I got married. In around 2000, when we started traveling, just heading out to different locations and new places, and I guess just capturing those memories really.
Right.
Just different scenery, and it just really just progressed into more. Not just taking a quick photo here and there, just wanting to.
So what was the transition like? What sort of sparked the interest to move from, everybody kind of starts with snapshots and just, recording things around them. What sort of sparked the interest to move from that to, what you do now?
I started really liking long exposure photography.
Sure.
So started with the old circular ND filters on the end of my lens, capturing that water movement and cloud movement. And I got my first DSLR. It was probably around 2007. It was a Canon D40.
Okay, yep.
A 40D, actually, they call the Canons. I still got that camera too. That was my first serious camera.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to play around more with that long exposure. And like I said, I just started with the circular filters on the end of the lens, and I really liked capturing waterfalls and that back then. Cool. Probably more so, even though I still love capturing waterfalls now.
Oh, who doesn't? I love a good waterfall. Nothing
So
better than
yeah,
standing knee deep in freezing cold water.
yeah, yeah, exactly. So yeah, just going to when we just started traveling a lot, and like I said, my interest was getting more into that long exposure back then, and it just
Sure.
all escalated from there. And then yes, capturing sunrise and sunsets, and just all the different. Of course, it's always a different light and the clouds and
Yep.
yeah, just capturing that magic.
So would you
Really.
say long exposures your main style, or do you try and mix it up a bit?
I do. I do love mixing it up because I think that keeps everything. I guess it's more interesting. I think, and I like doing a few different things. More so, I love hiking and stuff like that too. So I like getting out and about, climbing up, mountains and things like that.
It's a common combo, isn't it? You decide to climb a mountain, so you stick about 30 kilos of gear on a backpack and carry it up.
I know,
Just
and
to
then
make it harder.
You just end up using one lens or something.
That's right. Yeah.
But then I've been to so many different spots, and then if you don't take, your different lenses, you end up going, oh God, I wish I had the more zoom lens.
Yeah.
So you can zoom on a particular mountain or a spot. So yeah, you end up lugging everything around all the time, or I do.
Yeah, I've trimmed down a bit. I carry like 3 lenses, the body, and just spare cards and that, and the filters now, and the tripod, of course.
That's
basically try and restrict myself to that, because I used to have a large backpack, and that all fits into a small sort of sling style one, which goes over one shoulder. But I just found, for me, particularly doing seascaping, finding somewhere dry to keep it, that it wasn't going to also walk off on its own because somebody took an interest in it. That was, so I basically leave that on pretty much whenever I'm shooting, and just swing it round in front of me so that I can get at the lenses or other gear. It just makes it really easy. But I know.
Same with me.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I know a lot of people would still carry a lot of gear around, but as I say, I'm usually at least ankle deep, if not knee deep, in water somewhere. So it gets a bit precarious if you're trying to take a backpack off and balance that. Not knock over the tripod.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's exactly right. I've had quite a few scary instances slipping on rocks. I've slipped over quite a few times.
What's the worst one you've had?
Oh, I've had a few doozies. I've been like shooting a waterfall and balancing on some rocks and slipped over, and I've just saved my camera and lens from falling into the water. But I landed really badly and I didn't break anything, but sort of hurt my, I think I hurt my leg and hurt me butt a bit from falling over. But luckily, my camera and that, it sort of, I fell back and I've sort of grabbed the camera.
Yeah.
Another time I was shooting down at Moffat Beach for sunrise, and when the tide goes out, the rocks get really, really slippery, and they don't actually, of course, they don't look real slippery. And I'd just been shooting at one spot and got up to move to another area, and I thought, oh yep, I'm going to be stepping really careful here, and next thing I've slipped over backwards, and the camera and tripod's gone with me, and I've smacked the back of my camera, and I thought I'd broken the LCD screen and filters and everything. But luckily, I sort of just cracked around the eyepiece of my camera. It's still, the D850 still has a cracked eyepiece from when I fell over, but Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think there's a landscape photographer, at least anyone that does waterfalls or seascapes, that hasn't had an incident like that. I know I've drenched my gear a couple of times, and given the waterproofing a bit of a test out. But luckily I haven't physically broken anything yet. Touch wood. But I know it will happen at some point. Yeah, I'll
when you least expect
it. Yeah, I'll either slip over or I'll drop my bag or something, and something will crack.
But, or one of those rogue waves to come and wash off your feet. You always think that you've got the ocean worked out, and there's that one wave that comes in a lot faster and quicker than you expect it, and so I've been caught out a few times.
There's always one, isn't there?
Yeah. Keep you on your toes.
So what does your shooting and processing workflow look like? What do you do when you get set up? You're there at a waterfall or wherever, and what's going through your mind? What are you thinking about?
Well, I try and look for composition, something for a bit of foreground interest, something to lead into the image, I guess. So I just look for something that really catches my eye and sort of to frame up, whether or not it be rocks or trees or just something that catches my eye. And sometimes I can find it really hard to find a composition when you go out somewhere, and then other times just like that's it, I can put my tripod down, I know exactly find the spot and go, yep, that's perfect. And then other times I can sort of struggle, but everyone probably does that when they get to a location, especially if it's a new location that you've been. I just look for something that catches my eye to frame up, really. So what
do you then do when you're shooting? What's your process? Do you do bracketing, or are you trying to get everything in the one shot, or are you?
Depends. If it's the sunrise and sunset and the lights,
the big contrasty.
And I try to shoot a few different exposures. Like I might under and overexpose a little bit, and then I can always blend those exposures if I have to in Photoshop or Lightroom. And then sometimes I will focus stack, like if I'm at a waterfall, just to focus stack on different areas. Just in case, again, I can't get that in the one shot. So I do try and take quite a few different images when I'm in a location, just so I've always got those images there. The worst thing is only taking a few and your focus is out, or you've overexposed.
I've come home disappointed with a couple of shoots occasionally, where you try, particularly when you are trying to focus stack, and you realise that you've missed something critical, sort of in the mid-ground. You haven't quite nailed it, and it's just spoils the thing for me a little bit, but
but I've learnt that over the years, to definitely do a lot of different exposures and focusing and stuff like that, just so you can blend those exposures or and focus stack if you need to.
Sure. So what do you do once you finish shooting? You get home, do you get straight into processing or leave it to ferment for a bit?
Depends on what I've been shooting. If I'm really excited about a particular if I've been at a particular location, I'm really excited about those photos, I'll download them as soon as I can and try and have a play around with and have a look at them and edit. I try not to do too much editing. I'm always quite short for time, as we all are, and but I like to have a look at the images first, and if I find that it's taking me a bit too long to edit a particular photo, or if I have to stack the images or stuff like that, I generally leave it and come back to it. But sometimes I can just open up an image and go, yep, that's perfect, it's exactly what I want, and do
sometimes the one really pops out, doesn't it?
That's, and then other times it's, you sort of have to just leave them for a bit and come back to them. They don't always
jump out at you. No, I know what you mean.
So, but I don't tend to spend too much time editing. I don't like over editing.
I think a light subtle touch is the best way.
I just like to just, try and do as little editing. But if I can't edit like very quickly, I always have to come back to it.
I know what you mean. So when you're out shooting, what are you I know you're shooting Nikon at the moment, is that right?
So I've had Nikon since 2014. I started with the D810. And then when the D850 came out, which was 2018, I switched over to that one there. And then just recently, I've just changed over to the mirrorless system. I had Nikon ask me to become a Z creator.
Yep. Okay, cool.
So, they sort of contacted me about that if I was interested in it, and I said, yep, definitely.
Yeah, why not?
He would be interested, and my D850 was getting a few years old now, even though I still got it.
Yeah.
I was looking to upgrade soon anyway. So
it's good when you get support like that from the camera makers and so forth. It's nice to see them supporting, particularly here in Australia, some local talent. I think it's great.
So that was really good, and so now I'm just trying to adjust to the mirrorless, which I'm really loving at the moment.
What do you see as the biggest difference between the mirrorless and the DSLR in terms of when you're shooting? What is there any real difference, or is it just that you get better contrasts or better dynamic range?
The dynamic range is very similar to the Z7 II is what I'm shooting with at the moment. It's very similar to the D850. It actually isn't a great deal of difference at all, just a lot lighter. The detail is probably that little, I'd say the detail's a little bit better, but then I'm shooting with the new Z lenses and they're just exceptional. The 14-24 f2.8 lens, it's just an amazing piece of glass, and the new 24-70 f2.8 mil lens they're both exceptional lenses. So I think that's making a huge difference on the sharpness of my images, which when I first started shooting with them, I just went, wow, just from edge to edge sharpness.
So there's no sort of blur in the corners anymore. Or not as much. Nice.
So much sharper, and the EVF, the viewfinder, I'm really quite liking the electronic viewfinder, and just seeing what I'm seeing through that is what I'm pretty much capturing.
Great.
So I just find that's just so much easier with your workflow when you're out shooting.
Yeah, makes a big difference when you can see what it is that you're going to capture. It's
yeah.
I know, going from some of the older Canons that I had, which were sort of very entry level when I first started with digital, and you kind of look at it and go, yeah, well, that doesn't quite look like what I remember seeing, but
yeah, sort of probably like my old Canon 40D that I've still got here that the kids pull out sometimes and still works. Bit of fungus and stuff in the lens and stuff.
Yeah.
You can still have a bit of a play around with it. You don't have to worry about it too much.
Yeah. So what's your favourite piece of kit that you just can't live without?
So I love my wide angle lens. So the 14 to 24 mil f2.8 lens would have to be my favourite lens. I guess because I'm shooting landscapes and I'm basing because I can use it for Astro too, which I haven't done a lot this year.
Yeah,
that'd have to be my favourite lens that I'd make sure I've always got. So definitely my favourite lens to use. Sure. And then my second favourite would have to be the 24 to 70 mil and well, of course the filters as well. So filters are pretty much a necessity. So I run quite a few different filters.
Yeah. So you're using a filter system, or are you using screw-on circulars, or?
So I had the slide-in square filters.
Yep.
And I've just recently changed to magnetic circular.
Is that case? Is it?
Yeah. So I'm trying those at the moment.
Yeah, they make changing filters a lot easier, I think.
Yeah. So I'm actually loving that because it's just you've got the ring already fixed to my different lenses, and all I got to do is pull them out and just clip straight on.
Nice.
The only thing is if you don't have fingernails, getting between the lenses, it can make it a little bit more difficult pulling them apart. But, because sometimes, like as we all can be, might be running a bit late for that really nice sunrise or sunset, and it just makes it so quick and easy. Just pop them on. Oh, easy to pull off, pop on.
Makes it a snap. Yeah, literally.
So definitely filters. So my favourite lens and filters.
Yeah. So you on your Instagram, it mentions you got a DJI. Do you use that much? I just looking through your Instagram, I can't see. Drone shots.
I haven't been. I should dust it off a little bit more. I guess I had this bit of a scary moment with it last year where I nearly took it for a dive into the ocean.
Oh, wow.
So I let the battery go too flat, of course, and
didn't make it home.
No, well, it did, but it was touch and go, and I couldn't see it. And when you start panicking, I'm like panicking, going, where is it? And then it just kept wanting to land in the ocean. And then it's saying it couldn't land in the ocean. I'm just like, yep. So I've got to get it out a little bit more. When our last trip to South Australia in December, January, we took it with us. We did the Salt Lakes near, I can't even think the name of it off the top of my head.
Lake Eyre up north, or
no, it wasn't Lake Bum. Oh God, it was near Clare. Anyway, so that was the last time we sort of used it when we were on holidays there, and I haven't really used it much since then. It was really quite windy though when we were down on holidays, so I didn't get to use it as much as what I hoped to. I just haven't really pulled it out of the bag. Every time, like I've charged up the batteries to get it out, like, you know, something happens or it's too windy or the weather. But yeah, no, I definitely should get it out. More.
Yeah. No, I guess that's why you buy them, isn't it?
Yeah. I do like that different angle, and you can get some really nice beach photos, and you know, beautiful.
You also get a lot of the sea life, being able to see, you know, whales and sharks and schools of fish and that sort of thing.
Yeah,
see a lot of those sorts of shots.
Yeah, well, I'm hoping to get some whales and stuff this season. Didn't get to last year. But I wouldn't mind getting it up and getting out to the Noosa headland and getting a few different shots like that.
Mm-hmm.
That would be nice. You see some really nice videos of whales and that.
So where do you like to shoot mostly? What do you got a favourite spot or not?
Yeah, so a lot of people probably see that I'm at Lake Wyber quite a bit. There's a tree there that I like heading to, and it's on a really nice still day. You get amazing reflections, and just the character of this particular tree on the lake and different angles that you can capture. It's always really nice to capture those at a really nice it's a really good, more sunrise spot than sunset.
Yeah, right.
But that's definitely one of my favourite spots to shoot, because you can seem to capture quite a few images when you're there.
Yeah, you do get. I mean, you do get some nice sunrises up there on occasions. It's
yeah, we've been pretty lucky of late, I must say. I don't think we had so many last year.
Yeah.
Whether or not I've just been out a lot more. You know, as much. I've just been getting out a lot more too this year than last year. So whether or not I'm just maybe putting a little bit more effort to get up and get out.
Yeah. So in talking about things like social media and Instagram, what do you see its impact on photography has been?
Yeah, well, I find it a really good platform to use, especially because I do sell a few prints and online, and also my pro media gear as well. So, which I find that if I didn't have social media, people won't see images, because I shoot a lot of images at Noosa as well, and it's quite a touristy place. And I guess people tend to see when they're up holidaying. I've sold a lot of images of people that have been up on holidays and have seen an image and gone, oh, wow, I just want that image. And quite a few people have also bought more, you know, they buy one and then they come back and buy, you know, another image.
Yep.
Yeah, and frame prints is what I've sold the most.
Okay, cool. So do you just sell them out of your own website, or?
Yeah. So people just purchase them through the website.
Yeah, nice.
Generally, but though I've had people message me on my Instagram that have seen an image that I don't have on my website yet. They'll see it, post it, and go, oh, I want that one. Message me. I really like that one.
Nice.
So yeah, I really think it social media really does help.
Have you looked into the NFT space at all?
No,
Okay.
I haven't. I haven't really looked much at that at all. I might have to now.
Well, I don't know. There's just a lot of people jumping into it right now as a new way of buying and selling art, and I've noticed in particular a lot of photographers, in particular landscape photographers, getting into it. I've jumped in with a couple of things on sale at the moment myself. I haven't sold anything yet, but maybe that's because nobody likes my images. But you know. or likes the ones that I put up anyway. But you know, might say more about me than the rest of the NFT space. But it's
yeah,
interesting. I just find it interesting as a way of sort of selling and owning art. Is
okay.
I was talking to somebody the other day about it, and it sort of sounds to me. I don't know if it'll ever be maybe it will, maybe it won't, but I don't think it'll ever replace art on a wall. Maybe with electronic screens, if they become cheap enough to put on your wall, and you can then choose what art you want, by day or by hour or every 30 seconds if you've got enough.
Yeah, well, it certainly sounds interesting, but no, I haven't actually ever looked into it or anything.
What about online communities? Are you in any of those, or are you just sort of doing it standalone on your own?
Yeah, no, mainly just doing it, on my own, standalone.
No, that's fine. I'm going to be talking to some of the Women in Focus organisers a little bit later on.
Okay.
In the podcast, I've lined up a couple of discussions there. I don't know if you've come across them. I just think things like that, where they're organising to promote one another's work and everything. I just find that really an interesting aspect of social media.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes I'll catch up with a group of friends to go, shooting sunrise or sunset and stuff like that. Or, we've gone out shooting Astro in a few groups, a few mates and stuff like that. We'll catch up and make a bit of a night of it. But I'm not actually in any real community.
No formal communities. Like no, that's fair enough.
Just catch up with some friends. And just go shooting.
That's a nice way of doing it, I think. But
for sure. But normally when you head out in for sunrise at particular spots, especially on the Sunshine Coast, you always seem to meet up with other photographers and have a chat.
You sometimes can't move for photographers down here in Sydney if there's a banger sunrise on.
There'll be like a lineup of people.
Yeah, pretty much. And there's some places where you literally do have to line up, because somebody sets up early and you're the second or third in line. You're not going to get a look in there. But there's a couple of places where if you're not standing in the right couple of meters square, you're not getting the
right shot or the right angle.
So you got to go hunting elsewhere then. But I mean, it's one of the disadvantages, I guess, of being a city-based photographer is, unless you're willing to get out a bit, you tend to. I mean, I love bumping into people and I love talking to them, and I think it's really good. And to be honest, I think it actually helps the community a bit, by talking to some of these guys. But when you're jostling one another for a comp, it just gets a bit, bit much.
I remember about a month or two ago, I went shooting down at a particular jetty down Caloundra. Sometimes it's not photographers in your way, it's people.
Oh, yeah.
Fishing. You'll have the spot to yourself, and then all of a sudden, a group of fishermen will come. And I remember it was a beautiful morning. You could see it was developing into a beautiful sunrise. And there was this one particular fisherman who was casting his net off the jetty. And you don't mind if they sort of stay in one place, but he was walking up and down the jetty. And you're thinking, how am I going to even get a photo in this particular situation when they're just throwing this cast net in and dragging it in, and he's wearing a headlamp.
Oh, nice. So if you do a long exposure, he's just going to leave all these streaks through it. Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh God. And then it was really funny again. So my morning went from like that to even worse. So I thought this particular stage, I'm like, oh wow, I'm not going to get a walk away with much of an image at all.
Yeah.
And anyway, I went to pick up my bag. My camera bag was like just sitting on the jetty, and one of the buckles got jammed in between
Between the
two
boards,
boards.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so here I am, the sky's exploding with colour, and here I'm like, I've just decided that I'm going to move spots, and guess what? My bag was stuck on the jetty.
No.
Oh, and here I am, the clouds are going off, and I'm like, oh my God, and I'm just like, should I just leave my bag here? I was like, no, I can't leave. It was like, how am I supposed to get this thing anyway? I was like reefing it, and I eventually got it away, but then the colour pretty much had disappeared. Yeah. So that was my morning.
Go and have coffee then.
Yeah. And my bag stuck in the jetty. Oh God. Yeah, so that was an eventful morning, but yeah, we all have mornings like that, don't we?
Yeah,
when things don't seem to turn out. Yeah,
there's just times when you are better off just going back to bed.
I know, but when the sky is like lighting up and such beautiful color in the sky, yeah, it's really frustrating.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So who are your main inspirations at the moment? What sort of stuff that you're seeing sort of makes you go, oh wow, I'd love to do that?
Oh God, that's a good question. I think just a lot of people on social media that I see just are really inspiring. I don't think it's not really one person in particular for me. I see a lot of people's work, and I think, oh wow, that's really nice. That's beautiful photo, and I think that really, I just see something and it inspires me and gets me fired up, and not one particular person really. I always used to like Ken Duncan's work. I always used to love his landscape photography. Yeah, and actually Peter Leake. He was again a big inspiration for me when we visited. Oh, it was way back in early 2000s. It's probably another reason why it really got me, I guess, inspired to do different landscapes and stuff like that. Just seeing his gallery that was open in Cairns when it was still open.
Right, yeah. When he was still out here,
yeah. And just seeing his work and what he'd taken photos of and from way back then. So that was definitely something I just thought, wow, it was like all the different Antelope Canyon was a particular place that I saw one of his photos.
No, he's done some stunning shots of that.
Yeah, but pretty much around nowadays I look for inspiration like all around me really on social media. It's not one particular person that I really follow. It's like see everyone, I really love watching everybody's work and seeing what they're doing. And
there's a lot of really quality photographers floating around at the moment. And I'm kind of the same. There's a few that I sort of go back to that are always reliable, but there's just so many people out there. It'd be hard to name.
And they all do. Well, everyone does such beautiful work. Even you, even you, Grant.
Thank you. I'm glad somebody likes it.
And like I said, there's a lot of nice Astro work too. I wouldn't mind. I haven't done a great deal of Astro. I wouldn't mind trying some time lapses and some star trails, and just takes a lot of time. That's all. I tend to just go to a location, may go for an hour or so, and sort of come home. And when you've got a family, I guess that relies on you, and
it's tough getting the time to, particularly Astro season. It's not so bad when it's sort of earlier in the evening that you got the core rising or something. But there's times when if you want to line it up with a mountain or a tree or something, and that's only going to happen at 2:00 in the morning. And doing that when you got kids, I'm with you. It's not easy. It's not something that's readily accessible all the time. But
makes it quite a bit harder, I guess, when you've got a lot of other things, and especially too, I'm getting older. I need my beauty sleep so I can function the next day.
I've given up on that. I've got a good head for radio and podcasting. That's why I'm not doing any vlogging. So what do you see is the most important thing about being a photographer? What's most important to you about it?
Oh God, I don't know. For me, it's just I just love the great outdoors and just getting out and shooting. It just, I guess. I'm just trying to think. But I just love getting out and capturing the different light, just knowing that you never know what to expect, really.
For me, I really enjoy getting up early, particularly for sunrise. Being on the East Coast, that tends to be what you go for mostly. But it's just knowing that most of the people in Sydney at least are asleep, and I'm getting to see something and potentially show them something if they can be bothered to look at my shots on social media. But get them to see and experience some of what I'm seeing.
Sure.
Because I think if you can get up and get out there early, it's just a privilege to see some of that, because a lot of people don't see it because they're sensible and they stay in bed.
I know some photographers prefer sunrise or sunset, and whereas me, I like shooting both. But I guess
I'm the same. It's just being on the East Coast, there tends to be more
sunrise,
sunrise than sunset. There's just more opportunity, I think. But
there is.
I mean, there are places where you can do a sunrise down here, but they're just not as numerous as the sunrises.
Yeah. Whereas I guess for sunset here, I like heading, like I said earlier, like heading up, climbing a mountain. We got a nice spot, Mountain Youre, which is a nice sunset location, has a nice view. But otherwise for sunset, you sort of, it's a bit harder to find a really nice location to capture the capture in that particular direction, I guess.
Yep. So what are you doing when you're not out shooting?
I do have another job as well, which I've been doing for 20 odd years as well. I work at a tile shop, so I do that as well as my photography business.
Yep.
So it keeps me busy working there and my photography. So I do that as well. I sell tiles and help people with colour selection for renovation in their new home. So got married into a tile business.
Fair enough. It sounds good.
Keeps me very busy. Yeah, and then also my pro media gear, which is sell tripods and gimbals as well. So I import them from America. So I've been doing that since late about August 2018.
Right.
So that all started from me trying to find a good reliable tripod, something that wasn't made in China. I just wanted a good quality tripod that would withstand, heavy winds and in water when I'm shooting waterfalls. As I'd been let down by quite a few tripods. So I did a lot of research and bought a TR344L from them, and I was just really impressed with the quality, and I just talked with the owners, and it turned into importing and becoming an Australian reseller and distributor.
Nice. Very nice.
So it's really good quality products, like I said, made in America. So it keeps me very busy as well with that, as well as my photography and selling prints.
Nice. I got one more question, and for me it's the most important one. Pineapple on pizza.
Pineapple on pizza. That's I don't mind pineapple on pizza, so it's a yes for me.
Good, no worries. I'm just doing a bit of an experiment with this to see who likes it, who doesn't.
I know a lot of people that don't like it, including my other half. He'd be like shaking his head going, "Oh, I can't stand it."
It's a love-hate thing, isn't it?
It is. But no, I certainly don't mind it.
No, that's good. Well, thanks very much for talking to me, Marissa. I've really enjoyed it.
Thanks for having me.
And it was great learning more about you and how you get your great results. Where can people find your work?
So I'm on Instagram, Marissa Knight Photography, and I'm also on Facebook, Marissa Knight Photography too. So I'm on both.
That's great.
Both Facebook and Instagram.
Okay. Thanks again for listening to Landscape Photography World. I hope you enjoyed the show, and keep listening, because I'll be joined by some great guests in upcoming episodes. You can find my work and this podcast at grantswinburnephotography.com. I'm also on Instagram, Twitter and Facebook. I'm Grant Swinburne, and hope to see you out shooting soon.